Hey there, guys. I wanted to talk today about early readers, getting our kids to read. You already know that all the reading that you've done with your kid their entire life is getting them ready to read. But I got a couple of different little hints for you for getting to that point where they're going to want to learn to read and what we have to offer for helping them do that without getting so frustrated. I'm actually going to step all the way back to a baby book. This is actually something that we in our family, with my almost 5-year-old, have pulled back out recently. And the reason is, I know it's a touchy-feely and it's for itty bitties, but every one of our That's Not My books has the same rhythm to every page. Let me show you what I mean. That's not my bee. Its stripes are too fluffy. That's not my bee. Its feelers are too bumpy. That's not my bee. Its tummy is too fuzzy. Normally, when I'm just having fun and reading, I don't slow down that much. I don't point to the letters. I don't da 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 da. But when you're trying to get them to learn to read, those are things you're really going to want to do. Slow down, point as you go, and try to get as much up and down with your voice so that they kind of get the rhythm of reading. This is great because they're all very similar and they're easy to memorize. And from a very young age, my daughter had this book memorized and she would sit down and read it to me. She just knew what it said. She wasn't actually reading. But that was building that early confidence in how to read. If you've got a 3-year-old and you're thinking, I want to teach them how to read, first of all, don't push it. They're not ready at 3 to learn how to read. What they are ready to do is memorize, learn phonics sounds, start to follow along, and just build that love of reading. Another example of a book that has a really good rhythm to it is I'm a Dirty Dinosaur. There's also an I'm a Hungry Dinosaur, and it's I'm a dirty dinosaur with a dirty snout. I never wipe it clean. I just sniff and snuff about. Sniff, sniff, snuff, snuff, sniff and snuff about. So much fun when you can read something with a rhythm. That's going to really get them to understand that we're not making it up as we go along or pointing to the words. Make sure that if you do make a mistake, you go ahead and say, oh, I said prancing instead of whatever it was. Make it okay to make mistakes in reading. So you think your kid's really ready. What I want you to start to do is read out loud from our Phonics Readers. We have a ton of these that all work on particular phonemes, little sounds. For example, spider and a glider. Really fun pictures, not very much wording, nice font to read. Spider is spinning her sparkling strings. Swaying from branches, she sings as she swings. I wish to fly, so I'm making some wings. All of them have that rhyming to them. Dr. Seuss was brilliant because he knew that kids were not going to learn to read until they knew how to rhyme. The back of every single one of our phonics books has stuff about what you learned about wide, beside, space, face, booms, looms. So if you're looking for particular sounds that they're struggling with, you'll be able to figure out which one of the Phonics Readers is right for you. These come individually, or they come in a big pack of them. Or if you throw a party with me, I'll unlock our mini phonics for you to use your free books on. And these are only $2.50, the exact same book, just a little smaller. But you only get this if you throw a party with me. So, Phonics Readers. Even if all you're doing right now is reading them out loud to your kids, they will pick up that rhyming, and that will be a really good step to them actually being able to read it. Okay, now you're sure that it's time to learn how to read. The first thing you need, is the My First Reading Library. This thing is awesome. The reason I like it, it starts out with some very simple books, big letters, and what you do is the parent or adult or the person who knows how to read reads this stuff, and the learner reads the big stuff. Let me get it to a fun page. Sporty Dan just loves to run. Sid thinks eating's much more fun. Who stole cakes from Sleepy Stan? Sid, Sid, I am Dan. It's all about getting confused when you look alike. That happened to me as a kid too. Got going up a little bit. I'd like to be a mermaid. I can sit on a rock. Or maybe a circus acrobat. I can get up on top. Perfect example of a dual reader. So you're still reading to them and they don't feel like all of a sudden the fun thing you guys used to do together is now just work and there's no fun to it anymore. If you really like dual readers, I highly recommend Farmyard Tales. Is probably in my daughter's bed because she loves it. It's a little more advanced, I'd say second grader, but it's all got set up for dual reading if you really like that, because sometimes the kids are fighting reading, not because they don't want to learn how to read, but because they miss you reading to them. So making it a double thing. So eventually, as you move on through the reading library, we go away from dual reading and they start to be able to read by themselves. So they make it in these 50 books, they make it pretty far. I'm king of the jungle, roared Lion. I'm going to eat you up. They'll be able to read that by themselves if you go through these books in order. So that's my first reading library. Oh, it's heavy. Highly recommend this. We're only on book 4 right now, and it's taken some time. It's taken some patience. My kid's very stubborn, but we're going to get there because we have this as a template of what goes first in order to build on that. Once you complete that, we have the Read with Usborne series, and those are numbered. Number 1 is for the new readers, and then it goes developing readers, confident readers, and steps up to chapter books. So this is a level 1. Dog was always hungry. One day he trotted to the market. He spotted a bone. So these are getting a little bit longer. We're starting to build that stamina that's really required in order to be a reader, and there's lots of these. Princess in the Pea, Cinderella, Story of Pegasus, there's Stories of Unicorns, which is a level 4. Really big deal. After that, we have Usborne Storybooks. So this is an example of a beginner Usborne Storybooks, and this also has 3 levels. So we got beginning level, developing, and confident. So Emperor and Nightingale, it's already, for a beginner, this is getting closer to being like a chapter book. A long time ago in China, there was a great city. Next to the city, there were lovely gardens. They were full of tall trees, summer flowers. In the middle, there was a beautiful white palace. Can you imagine your kids being able to take a page that's almost half reading at this point? Still a lot of pictures, but most of the pages are at least half reading. See how much reading there is to pictures? That's starting to change. You don't want to just jump to things that don't have pictures. They need those pictures. And by the time you get to the confident readers on this series, the Usborne Storybooks, let's see, this is Sherlock Holmes. Good morning, Holmes, says Dr. Watson. He was just closing the door to 221B Baker Street when the famous detective said, "Wait, Watson, I'm expecting a visitor." Another man came in. "Mr. Holmes, I'm glad to meet you," he said. "My name is Dr. Mortimer. I hope that you can help me." So still a lot of pictures, but you're starting to see up to 3/4 of the page is writing. So that's when you get to the confident levels. And then once you're done with those early reader series, you can go up to something like Billy B. Brown, or you can go up to Hey Jack, which is the sister series to this one here. So these ones really are chapter books, but as you can see, we still have nice big writing. We have a lot of pictures. Not every page has a picture, but there's still quite a few pictures. You'll notice that the sentences still always end on the page. You don't have to turn the page to finish any sentences. That's really hard for them to do. So it always has a period or, some kind of punctuation before you go to the next page. Ella and Tracy run over to the monkey bars. Jack goes to play soccer. Billy walks into the classroom to meet Mika. This is about a new kid in class. So Billy B. Brown, there's 17 Billy B's, and there are 17 Hey Jacks, and then there's one where the both of them are both stars in the stories. But they're both in each book because they're neighbors and they're friends. So this is really good if your kid is ready to be holding something that looks like a chapter book and they don't want to feel like they're behind their friends who might be ahead of them a little bit in reading. This is still the right size for a book. It's not that long. It'll take them a couple of nights to get through it at first, but before you know it, they're going to sit down and boom, 20 minutes later, they're going to be done with this. And then it's all gravy from there. You can go on to any of our chapter books, just go with the age-appropriate ones, and we stepped you through that from books that have nice rhythm to be read to, Phonics Readers, My First Reading Library, dual readers like the Complete Farmyard Tales, our Read with Usborne series, followed up by our Usborne Storybooks, and then Billy B and Hey Jack. So we got you covered for reading for a while, huh? We're going to get those kids reading. Bye.